This is the question asked in today's skillrack daily challenge. So in the first line of our input, we are given the value of integer n, and after that we are given n string values as input, and then we are given the value of k. So here the value of k is equal to 1. So we have to shift all the characters for 1 times. So it is also given in the question that the length of every string will always be same. So here we can see that all the strings are of length 6. So for all of our inputs, the string length will always be same. Now our task is to shift the middle L-2 characters upwards. So the length of string L is equal to 6 and L-2 is equal to 6 minus 2, which is equal to 4. So we have to move the middle 4 characters upwards. So the middle 4 characters are nothing but all the characters except the first and last character. So in our last string, the characters RAVE are the middle 4 characters. So we have to exclude our first and last character, and all the remaining characters must be moved upwards. So for the given input strings, the last string is travel and the last minus first string is office. So the middle 4 characters of the string office must be replaced with the middle 4 characters of travel. Only then the middle 4 characters will be moved upwards. And before replacing the middle 4 characters of office, we have to make a copy of it and store it in a temporary character array. So the middle 4 characters of the string office are FFIC. So these 4 characters must be stored into a temporary array before replacing it, because if we replace it directly, then the characters FFIC will be deleted permanently and the characters RAVE will be moved upwards for all the string. So in order to avoid that, we are creating a temporary array and storing FFIC into it. And only after that we are going to replace the characters of office. So now we have to replace the characters of office. So the string office becomes ORAVE. So this is how we will be moving the characters upwards. Now we have to perform the same thing for the last second and last third strings. So the middle 4 characters of the last third string must be stored into the temporary array, and the characters in the temporary array must be stored into the middle 4 characters of the last third string. So we have to swap them. So I am storing XPER into the temporary character array, and I am replacing the middle 4 characters of the last third string with FFIC. So after performing this operation, this is how the modified string will be looking like. And now again we have to perform the same operation for the next 2 subsequent strings. So the middle 4 characters of the string across are CROS, and that must be stored into the temporary character array, and the string present in the temporary character array must be replaced at across. And then now we have to perform it for our first string. So the middle 4 characters of the string coding are ODIN, and that must be stored into the temporary array, and the characters present in temporary array must be replaced in the middle 4 characters of the first string. So now we have moved all the characters upwards for 1 time, but all the strings will have been updated except the last string. So the last string is alone remaining as such travel. So we have to update that also. We have our middle 4 characters of the first string stored in temporary character array, and those characters must be replaced for the middle 4 characters of the last string. So ODIN will be, so RAVE will be replaced with ODIN. So this is one iteration. So this is how we will be moving all the characters upwards for 1 time. Here the value of k is equal to 1. So we are just doing this process for 1 time. Suppose if the value of k is greater than 1, then we have to do this same process for k times. So now let us also check our output. So the first string is CCROSG. and in our expected output also it is CCROSG, and the second string is AXPERS, and our expected is also the same. So this is how we will be moving the characters upwards. The logic is, before moving the characters, we have to store the characters of the previous row into a temporary array, and only then we have to replace it with the characters present in its below row. So when we do like this, for all the subsequent strings, we get our correct output. Now let us see our program. So first I am creating two integer variables n and k, and in the next line I am accepting the value of n, and then I am creating a two-dimensional character array named str of size n, and the length of each string can be up to 101 characters. And I am creating a temporary character array, and then using a for loop I am accepting the n string values as input, and after accepting the n string values I am accepting the value of k. So now first we have to update our temporary string, because in the first iteration we will be checking for the last string and the last before string, and the temp will be empty. So in order to avoid keeping the temp string empty, we are storing the last string out of the given input strings into the character array temp. So after storing it, we are going to implement our logic. So the inner ij loop is our actual logic, and the outer z loop is k. So we will be performing the same logic again and again for k temps. So that is the task of this z loop, and the z loop iterates from 0 till k mod n times. So we are doing only till k mod n, because when the value of k becomes larger, then we will be getting soft time limit exceeding error. So in order to avoid that, we are using k mod n. So whatever may be the value of k, after every n iteration, all the string will come back to its original position. So that is why we are iterating only till k mod n times. So we can get our correct output with less number of iterations. So now let us see our logic. So this inner ij loop is our actual logic. First we have to start from our last row, and we have to check it with every subsequent rows. So I am creating a loop that iterates from n-1 till 0. So it is a decrementing loop. We are starting from the last row, and for every row we have to find its top row. So I am creating a variable named top row, and I am assigning. So if I is equal to 0, then I am assigning n-1, else I am assigning the value i-1. So if the row is equal to I, then the top row will be i-1, because we are iterating from the last row. But when we are present at the 0th row, there won't be any top row for it. So that is the reason we are using this ternary operator. Only when I is equal to 0, we are assigning top row is equal to n-1. Else we assign the top row is equal to i-1. So now we know our current row and we know our top row. So within the inner j loop, we will be iterating through the middle l-2 characters. The middle l-2 characters are nothing but all the characters except the first and last character. So the inner j loop iterates from 1 till the string length of any of the string in the input strings -1. So when we iterate through this, we will be iterating through the middle l-2 characters. That is, except the first and last character, we will be iterating through all the characters. So when we iterate, we have to implement our logic. So the first thing we have to do is, we have to store the characters of the top row in the range of j into the temporary character array. So in every iteration, first we have to store the characters into our temporary character array. So only after storing the characters of the top row into the temporary array, we have to replace the characters present in the top row with its below row characters. So that is how we should be updating the characters. And also in every iteration, we have to copy the last string value, because after one complete iteration, the last string will be changed. So we have to copy the last string into temp. So this is the logic.